Have you ever stopped to think that maybe free will is just an illusion created to distract you from the true script of your life? And what if, deep down, everything you call a choice is actually just a response to invisible commands that you yourself wrote without remembering? The truth is, there's a version of you with full memory of the game trying to communicate with you all the time. The catch? It speaks through synchronicities, sensations, and subtle clues. The problem? You've been taught to call this coincidence. From an early age, you were taught that life is a sequence of cause and effect. Everything has to have logic, proof, a rational reason. But then you get that sudden shiver. You think of someone and they show up. You keep seeing repeating numbers all the time, and something inside you says, this means something. You ignore it, rationalize it, call it luck, coincidence. But a part of you knows it's not quite like that. What nobody told you is that there's a hidden language behind events. A silent language that the universe, or maybe the more awakened version of yourself, uses to guide you. This communication doesn't come in words, but in signs, patterns, meaningful coincidences. And as much as traditional science tries to sweep it all under the rug, the truth always finds a way to appear. And when it does, it gives you that existential punch. Nothing is by chance. The craziest part? This language isn't a privilege of gurus or mystics. It's available to anyone willing to step out of autopilot, quiet the external noise, and listen with the heart. But to understand this new code, you'll need to reprogram your subconscious mind, adjust your vibrational frequency, and learn to read the energy field around you. And it all starts by understanding what synchronicity really is, and why you were taught to ignore it. Have you ever had the feeling that something greater is guiding you, even when everything seems chaotic? As if there were an invisible map, drawn by an intelligence that connects events, thoughts, and emotions. Well, that's not just coincidence, that's quantum manifestation working behind the scenes of your life. The secret lies in how you access this map, which is built from your vibrational frequency. Every choice, thought, and emotion you nurture is shaping this map in real time. The curious thing is that no one teaches us this. On the contrary, we're programmed to ignore everything that isn't logical or visible. But real life happens in the invisible. It's in the energetic field that you attract or repel opportunities, people, paths. And that's why reprogramming your mind is the first step for you to understand how to collapse reality and create a life with more meaning. I've gone through this many times. I remember once almost closing an important business deal just because it was the logical choice. But my body gave signals, the environment felt strange, and everything in me screamed that it wasn't the moment. I listened to my intuition and stepped back. Weeks later, I discovered that the partnership would have caused me major financial loss. That's what it means to trust the universe. This kind of wisdom doesn't come from the rational mind, but from the subconscious mind, which picks up signals you can't even explain yet. When you learn to listen, your self-image begins to change. You stop being someone lost in chaos and become someone guided by an invisible field of meaning. That's the moment you take your first timeline shift. Without realizing it, you've already changed reality. Many people think quantum manifestation is about wishing and waiting, but it's more like dancing with life, feeling the music, understanding the rhythm, and moving with it. Sometimes, a decision that seems small, like changing your route home or calling someone unexpectedly, can be the turning point. Elevated vibration isn't something you do. It's something you sustain, and that comes from your internal programming. That's why you need to observe yourself. Pay attention to your repetitions. Always the same mistakes? The same relationship patterns? The same frustrations? That's not bad luck. They're precise manifestations of your vibrational frequency. And they only change when you change your identity. Changing your identity is more important than changing your goal, because it defines what you will attract. Want a simple manifestation technique? Start the day visualizing not only what you want, but who you are when you already have it. This detail changes everything. If your subconscious believes you're still someone trying, you perpetuate the effort. But when you embody the new self-image with emotion and presence, the universe responds. Reality shift becomes inevitable. Have you tried letting go of control for an entire day and simply trusting? Sounds simple, but it takes courage. Letting go and receiving is not passivity. It's active presence. It's saying, I've done my part. Now I let the universe surprise me. That realigns your energetic field and puts you in a state of openness, where manifestation techniques really work. Without resistance, everything flows. A friend once decided to stop fighting against the job he hated and started putting his energy into art, even without knowing where it would lead. 3 months later, a gallery reached out by chance. They had found one of his paintings on Instagram. Coincidence? No. Vibration. Energetic alignment. Energy of deservingness. That's what happens when you stop doubting and start trusting your field. This invisible map that guides you is updated all the time, and it responds more to your internal state than to your external actions. When you're in coherence, mind, emotion, and body in the same frequency, everything aligns. Even what seemed impossible reorganizes. It's not magic. It's vibrational physics applied to everyday life. It's the real power of the law of attraction in action. But pay attention. Without vigilance, you fall back into autopilot. Your subconscious loves to repeat the familiar, even if it hurts you. So maintaining elevated vibration requires a daily commitment to your awareness. Small practices, like conscious breathing, gratitude upon waking, and avoiding negative narratives, make all the difference. Because everything you emit comes back. And here's a golden tip. Observe the signs. If something is blocked too much, maybe it's redirection. If something flows lightly, even without logic, maybe it's synchronicity. The universe doesn't speak Portuguese. It speaks in events, emotions, patterns. You need to learn this new energetic language to truly collapse reality. When you align with this flow, everything transforms. Now, if this conversation is making sense to you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll keep receiving content to deepen this journey. Life begins to respond differently when you put yourself in environments that sustain this vibration. And that's exactly what we're building here together. A space of expansion and real alignment. And if you think this is all just theory, wait until you understand how the universe's signs try to guide you every single day, even when you don't notice. That's what we'll explore in the next topic. And it might be the missing piece for you to completely change the way you live. Have you ever come across a repeated number 111, 222? Right when you were reflecting on something important. Curious, isn't it? These codes can be one of the most sophisticated ways the energetic field communicates. They show up as little vibrational flashes, echoing events that are about to materialize. And learning to read this symbolic language can guide you straight toward what your consciousness wants to manifest. These symbols aren't superstition. They're activations from the universe saying, asterisk, I'm listening. Asterisk seeing 1111 on the clock, for instance, can be the energetic field signaling that you're in tune with a timeline shift. In practice, it means your internal programming is aligned with a path of expansion, ready to receive what still feels distant. I've seen this happen with a friend. She kept seeing 222 whenever she thought about a project idea. Weeks later, that idea became reality in perfect synchronicity. It was the universe signaling that she was vibrationally in the right place. And it only happened because she chose not to ignore the signs but to record them. That's the level where quantum manifestation really starts to make sense. Think of it like this. It's an invisible traffic light flashing green whenever you're on the right frequency. Sometimes you dismiss it as coincidence, but all it takes is opening your eyes and feeling. When the subconscious mind recognizes these signs, it realigns. You begin to attract people, doors, opportunities. Everything becomes a reflection of your vibration, a dance between you and the universe. Looking at so-called accidental encounters with curiosity can also reveal your frequency. Ever thought of someone you hadn't seen in years and then they show up in person? Not online, but physically there? Those encounters are touch points from the universe, reminding you that you're never alone in a reality that vibrates with what you're emitting. This connects to the power of synchronic events. When energy flows, encounters feel guided by a deeper logic. A book shows up in your hands just when you needed the answer, or a phrase in a casual conversation becomes the insight you were searching for. That's the silent law of attraction in action. But notice, to decode these messages, you need to be in a contemplative state, that elevated vibration that puts you in tune with the invisible. If your frequency is weighed down by emotional noise or urgency, you won't hear what the universe is whispering. Trusting the universe means releasing the rush. By recording these occurrences in a journal, you create a personal map, a symbolic language unique to you. That changes everything. You stop waiting for results and start paying attention to the signs that inspire you. Because synchronicity is not a method, it's a conversation. An intimate exchange between you and the field, and that dialogue begins only when you stop forcing. And it's not just external signs. They can come in dreams, sudden ideas, or dissonant emotions that arise before an insight. Your subconscious mind is in dialogue with the universe. It's up to you to listen. Think of yourself as an antenna. When it's clear, even thoughts turn into signals and surface as evidence in the physical world. It's also key to filter what's imagination from what's real synchronicity. Intensity isn't the indicator. Emotional coherence and personal relevance are. If a number keeps appearing in the same emotional context, it's a message. If it's scattered, it may be noise. That discernment grows from the vibrational awareness you cultivate. By recognizing these signs, identity shift happens naturally. You begin to see yourself as a co-creator, not a victim. Your story changes. You start noticing the moments when the universe is already resonating with your desire. And then synchronicity moves from being a detail to becoming the foundation of your reality. This changes everything about manifesting abundance. You stop wishing from nothingness and start observing where abundance is already arriving. That accidental opportunity shows up because your energetic field was open and receptive. And that's the field that must be alive, connected, and ready to receive. Now, if this resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Because synchronicity is an art you learn by living, and I've got practices to help you tune your frequency and decode the right signs. Are you ready to learn how to sustain this state every day? And in the next topic, we'll explore how your emotions can make your field either more sensitive or darker, and how that determines what you attract. Have you noticed that even when you're doing everything right, sometimes things just stall? Feels like the universe switched to airplane mode, doesn't it? What most people don't realize is that more than your thoughts, it's your emotions that vibrate like a GPS for the energetic field. They're the inner compass that sets the course of your quantum manifestation. If you're emotionally misaligned, the shortest path turns into a maze. And here's the curious part. Often you think you're asking the universe the right way, but deep down you're feeling the opposite. The conscious mind says, I want to attract abundance, but the subconscious mind is vibrating fear, scarcity, insecurity. And guess what? That's what the field responds to. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you deeply feel with intensity. The truth is, every emotion has a measurable vibrational frequency. Anger, guilt, and shame vibrate at the lowest ranges. Gratitude, love, and presence vibrate with high energetic coherence. When you vibrate high, your reality reorganizes to match it. It's like your energy says, I'm ready. And the universe responds effortlessly. Remember those phases when everything seemed to just work out? Most likely you were emotionally light, unattached, simply living. That state of letting go and receiving is the key to energetic alignment. It's not that good things came because you earned them. It's because your energy of worthiness was active. You were in the flow, and the flow always delivers. But how do you move out of a dense emotion, one that clings to you? Start by observing it, not judging it. Don't fight it. Feel it, accept it, breathe it. Emotion is just energy in motion. If you block it, it becomes a pattern. If you let it move, it makes space. Reprogramming your mind starts by allowing what is without resistance. Ever noticed that when you repress an emotion, it comes back stronger? It's like a spring. The more you push, the harder it rebounds. Worse yet, that repressed energy stays active in your field, silently sabotaging your attempts to shift reality. Instead of running, ask, asterisk, what is this emotion trying to show me? Asterisk. At one point in my life, I realized my vibrational frequency was always low, even while I repeated positive affirmations. Then it hit me. I was saying, I'm fine, but feeling asterisk. This will never work. Asterisk, that incoherence between thought and emotion is like pressing the gas with the handbrake on. You burn energy but go nowhere. That's why manifestation techniques that ignore emotions don't work. Shallow meditations, rote affirmations, or visualizations without real feeling are just noise. The field responds to genuine emotional vibration, not mental repetition. Emotion is the fuel of creation. Without it, there's no fire. Here's a practical exercise. For 7 days, upon waking, write down 3 emotions you want to feel that day, e.g., peace, enthusiasm, confidence. During the day, pause 3 times and ask, asterisk, am I vibrating this? Asterisk, if not, adjust. Put on uplifting music. Take a deep breath, visualize something good. You can raise your vibration with simple actions. This practice fine-tunes your self-image. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the conductor of your field. Emotions aren't villains, they're compasses. They don't show up to drag you down, but to reveal distortions in your internal programming. When you understand this, the whole game changes. And here's the hidden gift. Even negative emotions are portals. Sadness often reveals you're far from what you really want. Anger shows where you need to set boundaries. Anxiety exposes excess control and lack of trust in the universe. Instead of suffocating them, use them as teachers. Gradually, you'll see that raising your vibration isn't a fixed state but a daily practice. It's about constantly adjusting your internal GPS. It's not about avoiding dips, but rising faster. The faster you rise, the clearer the path becomes to collapsing the reality you want to live. You can train your energetic field to stabilize in higher frequencies. How? Through small choices. Sleeping well, consuming inspiring content, nurturing conversations, laughing more, dancing, walking barefoot on the earth, practicing presence. All of these reprogram your subconscious mind to access higher frequencies. And here's the bottom line. Every quantum manifestation begins with a coherent emotion. That's what aligns signals, attracts people, opens portals, and redraws paths. Emotion isn't the enemy of reason. It's the emotional intelligence that guides your timeline shift. Now that you understand the vibrational power of emotion, it's time to explore how time itself is a malleable illusion, and how you can access it non-linearly to manifest faster. Ready for the next step? You know those moments that make you stop and think, there's no way this was just a coincidence? Exactly. Those moments carry more than curiosity, they carry direction. Synchronicities are not luck, nor chance. They are the visible reflection of an invisible field constantly in dialogue with your vibration. And if you learn to read this hidden map, your life scales to another level. Synchronicities are like cosmic arrows pointing toward where your soul wants to go, even when your mind hasn't caught up yet. When you're in energetic alignment, these signs intensify. Unexpected encounters, repeating numbers, perfect messages, improbable opportunities. It's as if the universe is saying, keep going, this is the way. And here's the thing, they don't only show up when things are going well. Many times, synchronicities emerge in the middle of chaos. They're the invisible cords pulling you back to center, even when life seems off track. Ever noticed how, in your most confusing moments, something out of nowhere brings clarity, a phrase you overhear, a song playing, a stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear. Once, in the middle of a personal crisis, I wandered aimlessly into a random bookstore. A book literally fell from the shelf and opened on a page with a quote that felt written for me. That moment flipped a switch. Pure synchronicity. Not magic, but quantum manifestation acting subtly. Even in pain, my vibrational frequency was open to receive direction. These moments are evidence you're not alone. When you learn to trust the universe and release control, these manifestations multiply. It's like fine-tuning a radio. The more aligned your vibration, the clearer the signal. The real question is, are you noticing the signs, or just running on autopilot? Your thoughts and emotions emit commands to the energetic field, and the feedback comes as repeating patterns. For example, seeing 1111 often isn't just a spiritual fad. It's a reminder that you're creating reality right now. It's a mirror of your inner state, nudging you to reprogram your mind and align with your higher self-image. A practice I use, and one that can transform your perception, is the Synchronicity Journal. Every day, I note down what seemed improbable yet deeply meaningful. After a few weeks, patterns emerge. This maps how my energetic field is behaving and helps me adjust my vibration when needed. The universe is speaking to you, but are you listening? These signs don't come in logical language. They manifest in symbols, metaphors, sensations. A dream may carry direction. A delay may save you from a disaster. A mistake might actually be a realignment. Only those who practice presence can catch these nuances. Because in the end, synchronicity is more about perceiving than understanding. The more you align with your purpose, the more frequent these coincidental encounters become. You attract people who speak your soul's language, ideas that expand your awareness, and doors that open without you pushing. It feels like a miracle, but it's just elevated vibration in action. You attract what resonates with who you're being, not just with what you're asking for. Identity shift also happens here. You stop seeing life as random and start seeing it as interconnected. Everything is tied by invisible threads that only reveal themselves to those willing to look. And this looking goes beyond the eyes. It's inner listening. It's intuition guiding without needing proof. Here's a crucial detail. Synchronicity isn't a moral approval stamp. It's not the universe saying, "Good job." It's simply energetic feedback. If your vibration is chaotic, you'll attract chaotic patterns just as precisely. Everything is a mirror. Once you understand that, you read reality as feedback. Every situation is a reflection of your internal programming. And then you stop running from challenges, you decode them. A recurring relationship issue, a delayed project, a repeated mistake, all carry messages. You just need to ask, what is the universe trying to show me through this? That single question already initiates a timeline shift. But beware of the spiritual ego. It loves to label everything as a sign of destiny. Not everything that feels synchronous is direction. That's why developing vibrational discernment is essential. The more you practice presence, the easier it becomes to distinguish emotional illusion from real field communication. Practices like meditation, intuitive journaling, and conscious silence help a lot. They tune your sensors to pick up the invisible. And the more you trust, the clearer it gets. Because trusting the universe isn't about sitting and waiting. It's learning to dance with the signs, to release and receive, to listen and act, one step at a time with an open heart. So, if life has been sending you messages, through encounters, repetitions, or sensations, don't ignore them. Maybe it's the map you asked for, just in another language. The question is, will you wait for someone else to translate it? Or will you learn this new vibrational language yourself? In the next topic, we'll dive deeper. How time is only an illusion of the mind, and how to use that to create realities faster than you ever imagined. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about how certain people seem to live in the future? They make choices that only make sense months later. They make decisions based on something they just feel. And guess what? They're right. That's not luck. It's a timeline shift. And the key to accessing this ability is with you right now. You just need to learn how to use it. The first thing you need to understand is this: time doesn't work the way we were taught. That straight line of past, present, and future, an illusion of the rational mind. In reality, time is more like a web where all possibilities already exist. And your vibrational frequency is what defines which of these lines you'll experience. Every thought you have, every recurring emotion, every belief you hold, all of that determines the GPS of your consciousness. You don't walk through time, you tune into time. If you live connected to patterns of fear, guilt, or scarcity, you access realities where those feelings are confirmed. If you raise your vibration, you access realities where abundance is already certain. That's why changing your internal programming is essential. You're not trying to change the future. You're choosing another future that already exists and vibrating in its frequency. Want a practical example? Imagine yourself living your dream life. Confident, healthy, prosperous. How does that person think? How do they act? Start living as if you were already that version right now. I did this. When I still lived in a small apartment with no financial stability, I began living with the identity of someone who already had abundance. I didn't spend more than I could, but I changed my posture, my self-care, my routine. I connected with the energy of worthiness. And guess what? Opportunities started showing up as if by magic. But it wasn't magic, it was energetic alignment. This timeline shift is a powerful manifestation technique, but it requires presence. You can't do it on autopilot. You need attention in the now because it's only in the present that you have real power. The past only exists in your memory, and the future is just a sequence of well-chosen presents. The rest is distraction. Techniques like creative visualization, scripting, and guided meditations are excellent for anchoring the new timeline. Here's a tip. Before going to sleep, review your day and imagine how it would have been if you had lived it as your best version. This creates a vibrational bridge in your energy field, activating the collapse of the desired reality. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. If you feel something with intensity, it records it as real. And here's the secret. When you start to feel consistently that you already are the version you want to be, your external reality has no choice, it must reorganize. That's how you attract abundance. That's how you collapse reality. Time only seems fixed because you're used to validating what you see. But the invisible is what builds the visible. If you start moving from intuition, not just logic, you'll notice that the most improbable paths are actually the most aligned. And life begins to conspire in ways that don't fit into spreadsheets. You know that déjà vu feeling? That sense that you've lived this before? That's a crack between timelines. It's like, for an instant, you were in two realities at once. Those moments are signs that your consciousness is expanding, breaking through the limits of linear time. When that happens, don't ignore it. It's the universe showing you that you're capable of more than you imagine. But for this leap to be sustainable, you must maintain the frequency. It's no use accessing your ideal timeline one day and falling back into the same complaints the next. Emotional coherence is the glue of quantum manifestation. Energetic repetition builds new neural routes, and time responds to vibration, not to loose intention. One practice I teach is the morning alignment. When you wake up, instead of rushing to your phone, breathe deeply, connect with your energy field, and declare, "Today, I choose the timeline where I am at peace, expanding, and aligned with my mission." Seems simple, but it changes everything, because it starts your day with presence, not reactivity. That's how you reprogram your mind, by creating small daily rituals that reinforce your new identity. An identity shift, by the way, is the true leap. When you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to manifest and start seeing yourself as someone already living in flow with the universe. The magic happens, and then time stops controlling you. You stop chasing things, and they start chasing you. Not because it got easy, but because it got aligned. Time is a dance, and you can choose the rhythm as long as you learn to hear the music of your own vibration. Now that you understand that synchronicity is the voice of your future self, I feel that two crucial questions linger in the air. Are you going to keep ignoring the subtle messages that life gives you, or will you become fluid enough to respond to them in real time? And more, how long will you accept living within the limits of a rational mind when there's an entire universe calling you through intuition and feeling? Reality shifts happen when you decide to listen to the signs, reprogram your subconscious mind, and embrace your energy field as a tool for creation, not just as a reflection of circumstances. So, will you choose to respond to the universe with presence instead of reacting with attachment? If yes, start now. And if you want to keep learning how to raise your vibration and attract abundance with real awareness, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. In the next videos, we're going to map out this vibrational language together.